Black wind howls across the endless white expanse. The thermometer plunges deep into the red, -84 degrees. In this merciless world of ice and death, where exposed skin freezes in minutes, an Inuit hunter crouches over virgin snow, his breath forming crystals in the Arctic air. In his weathered hands, he holds only a bone knife. What happens next defies belief. In less than 2 hours, he will transform the snow into a shelter warm enough to preserve life. A masterpiece of engineering born from thousands of years of wisdom. Before we continue, if you enjoy powerful stories of survival, tradition, and raw nature, make sure to click that subscribe button. It's the best way to support our work. Thank you, and let's continue. The hunter's sealskin mittens trace circles in the snow, searching. His name is not spoken aloud here. The wind carries words away in this place. He probes with expert precision, feeling for the right density, the perfect crystalline structure that will form the bones of his shelter. This is no random act. Every movement stems from knowledge passed down through generations, from elders who learned from their elders before them. The snow must speak. It must tell its story of wind and compression, of age and strength. He finds what he seeks. The bone knife, carved from caribou antler by his grandfather, slices into the snowpack with surgical precision. Each block emerges perfectly formed, roughly 3 feet long, 18 inches wide, and 8 inches thick. The dimensions are not written in any book, yet they exist in his muscle memory, as natural as breathing. These blocks weigh nearly 40 pounds each, dense and compact, their crystalline structure binding them together like nature's own concrete. The first ring begins to take shape. The hunter positions each block with meticulous care, angling them inward at precisely 10 degrees. This is not guesswork. It is mathematics perfected through millennia. Each block leans against its neighbor, creating a spiral that will rise into a dome of impossible strength. The Inuit language contains dozens of words for snow, each describing a different texture, density, and quality. What the hunter uses now is called pukak, the packed snow that forms the foundation of life in the Arctic. As the walls rise, the temperature continues its brutal descent. Frost forms on his eyebrows. His beard becomes a sculpture of ice. Yet inside the circle of blocks, something remarkable happens. The snow walls begin to trap heat, creating a microclimate that defies the savage cold outside. This is the genius of the igloo, not merely shelter, but a thermal engine powered by human body heat and the insulating properties of snow itself. The hunter's movements are rhythmic, meditative. Cut, lift, place, cut, lift, place. Each block trimmed to fit perfectly against its neighbor. The seams packed with loose snow that will freeze solid, creating an airtight seal. The dome rises higher, the spiral growing tighter with each course. This is engineering without blueprints, architecture without tools, survival distilled to its purest form. Now comes the moment of greatest skill, the keystone. The hunter has left a deliberate hole at the apex of the dome. With precision that would impress a master mason, he carves a final block shaped like a wedge. This piece must fit exactly, bearing the weight of the entire structure while completing the geometric perfection of the dome. He lifts it from inside, working blind, feeling the angles with fingertips that can still sense despite the numbing cold. The keystone slides into place. The igloo stands complete, but the work is not finished. The hunter now turns his attention to details that transform the snow shelter from emergency refuge to comfortable dwelling. Using his knife, he carves a low entrance tunnel that angles downward, a cold trap that prevents warm air from escaping. The physics are simple yet brilliant. Warm air rises, cold air sinks, creating a natural thermal barrier. Inside the dome, he shapes sleeping platforms from the snow, raising them above floor level where the warmest air will accumulate. Here, covered with caribou furs, the temperature can reach a comfortable 50 degrees, a 130-degree difference from the killing cold outside. This seems impossible, yet it is achieved through pure understanding of natural principles. The hunter lights a small seal oil lamp. The flame dances, casting shadows on the crystalline walls. Something magical happens. The heat from the lamp begins to melt the inner surface of the snow blocks ever so slightly. As the water vapor rises and meets the cold outer layers, it refreezes, creating a glazed interior surface that strengthens the entire structure. The igloo becomes stronger the longer it is occupied, a living structure that adapts and improves with use. Outside, the storm has intensified. Wind speeds approach 60 miles per hour, driving snow horizontally across the tundra. Yet inside the igloo, all is calm. The dome shape deflects the wind. The snow walls absorb sound, creating an oasis of peace in a world gone mad with winter's fury. This is not just shelter, it is salvation. The hunter sits cross-legged on his sleeping platform, removing his outer parka. Steam rises from his body, testament to the incredible insulation properties of his snow house. He has created a space where life can continue when all of nature seems bent on destruction. This knowledge, how to build a life-preserving shelter from nothing but snow and skill, represents the pinnacle of human adaptation to extreme environments. That the igloo is more than mere shelter. It is a symbol of the Inuit relationship with their environment, are not conquering nature, but understanding it so deeply that they become part of it. Every angle of the dome, every carefully placed block, speaks to knowledge earned through countless generations of trial and error, of lives saved and lives lost in the pursuit of survival. The hunter prepares tea over his lamp, the aromatic steam filling the dome. He knows that others of his people are scattered across the ice, each in their own igloos, each connected by shared knowledge and tradition. In cities far to the south, people huddle in heated buildings, dependent on complex systems of power and fuel. Here, survival depends on wisdom passed from hand to hand, from elder to youth, from the distant past to the immediate present. As night falls, though, in the Arctic winter, day and night blur into endless darkness. The igloo glows softly from within. From outside, it appears as a gentle luminescence on the snowfield, a beacon of human ingenuity in a landscape that offers no quarter to the unprepared. The temperature outside continues to drop, reaching levels that would freeze exposed flesh in seconds. Yet inside, the hunter sleeps peacefully, wrapped in furs, protected by his dome of snow. The structure he has built will stand for weeks, perhaps months, requiring no maintenance beyond occasional clearing of the entrance tunnel. When spring finally comes, it will melt away, leaving no trace on the land, the perfect temporary architecture, perfectly suited to its environment. The hunter will move on, following the migrations of caribou and seal, building new igloos wherever his journey takes him. This is not just construction, it is communion with the environment. The hunter reads the snow like others read books, understanding its stories, its strengths, its weaknesses. He knows that snow is not merely frozen water, but a complex material with properties that change with temperature, wind, and time. His knowledge encompasses meteorology, physics, engineering, and ecology, though he would not use these terms. The morning brings no sunrise, only a gradual lightening of the darkness. The hunter emerges from his igloo to find the storm has passed. The landscape has been transformed, drifts reshaping the topography, but his shelter stands unchanged. He will hunt today, secure in the knowledge that he has a warm haven to return to. This freedom to move across the Arctic with confidence, knowing that shelter can be created anywhere there is snow, is the true gift of the igloo. As our team follows the hunter across the ice, we marvel at the simplicity and sophistication of what we have witnessed. In a world increasingly dependent on technology, here is a solution that requires nothing but knowledge, skill, and the most abundant resource in the Arctic, snow itself. The igloo represents sustainable architecture in its purest form, using local materials, leaving no environmental impact, perfectly adapted to its setting. The hunter pauses, looking back at his creation. To untrained eyes, it appears as a simple mound of snow. To him, it is a masterpiece of engineering, a life-saving sanctuary, a connection to his ancestors. He knows that elsewhere in the world, architects and engineers study the igloo's design, trying to understand its remarkable thermal properties. Yet all their computer models and calculations cannot replicate what he achieves through inherited wisdom. As we prepare to leave, the hunter begins teaching a young apprentice the art of igloo building. The knowledge flows from one generation to the next, an unbroken chain stretching back through time. This is how culture survives in the harshest environment on Earth, through the careful preservation and transmission of essential skills. The apprentice struggles with his first blocks, cutting them too thin, angling them incorrectly. The hunter watches patiently, offering gentle corrections. He knows that mastery takes time, that each mistake teaches a lesson, that someday this young one will build igloos as naturally as breathing. This is education in its most fundamental form, learning by doing, guided by experience, motivated by necessity. The lesson continues as the day progresses. The apprentice learns to read the snow, to feel for the right consistency, to judge the proper angle for each block. He discovers that building an igloo is as much about understanding snow as it is about construction techniques. The hunter shares stories of famous igloos, shelters that saved entire families during blizzards, structures that stood against hurricane-force winds, designs adapted for different snow conditions. As afternoon approaches, marked only by subtle changes in the gray light, the apprentice completes his first igloo. It is smaller than the hunter's, less perfectly formed, but it stands. The hunter nods approval. This imperfect dome represents the future of his people's survival skills, the continuation of knowledge that has kept the Inuit alive in the Arctic for thousands of years. We witness the apprentice enter his creation for the first time, experiencing the sudden warmth, the silence, the sense of security that comes from being protected from the elements. His face shows wonder, the same wonder that countless generations have felt upon discovering that snow, the very substance that threatens life, can also preserve it. The hunter shares more advanced techniques, how to build connected igloos for larger groups, how to construct windbreaks and storage areas, how to modify the design for different seasons and snow conditions. Each variation represents a solution to a specific challenge, developed through centuries of experimentation and refinement. As evening approaches, both igloos glow with lamplight. Inside each, a small world exists, complete and self-contained. The hunter and apprentice prepare their evening meal, the smell of cooking seal meat filling their respective domes. Outside, the aurora borealis begins its dance across the sky, green curtains of light reflecting off the snow, turning the igloos into ethereal lanterns. The apprentice asks questions about the old days, about how the igloo was developed, about the first person who thought to build with snow. The hunter shares the legends, stories of the ancient ones who learned from the animals, who watched how polar bears dig snow caves, who experimented until they discovered the perfect form for human shelter. These stories blend history and mythology, practical knowledge and spiritual understanding. The igloo is more than architecture. It is a symbol of human ingenuity, of the ability to find solutions in the most unlikely materials, of the relationship between people and their environment. The hunter explains that building an igloo is a meditation, a prayer, a conversation with the snow itself. As night deepens, the temperature outside plummets once again, yet inside the igloo's warmth persists. The hunter and apprentice sleep, their shelters standing guard against the Arctic night. In the morning, they will continue their journey, leaving these structures behind, knowing they can build new ones wherever they travel. The igloo teaches profound lessons about sustainability, about working with nature rather than against it, about finding elegant solutions to complex problems. In an age of climate change and environmental crisis, these lessons become ever more relevant. The hunter's knowledge represents a form of technology that requires no fuel, produces no waste, and leaves no permanent mark on the landscape. As our documentary team prepares to depart, we reflect on what we have witnessed. The igloo stands as a testament to human adaptability, to the power of traditional knowledge, to the possibility of living in harmony with even the harshest environments. It reminds us that sometimes the most sophisticated solutions are also the simplest, that wisdom accumulated over generations can rival modern engineering. The hunter continues his journey across the ice, the apprentice by his side, both carrying the knowledge that ensures survival in a world of snow and wind. Behind them, their igloos stand sentinel, perfect domes of crystalline architecture, glowing softly in the Arctic twilight. Soon they will melt away, returning to the snow from which they came, leaving no trace except in the memories and skills of those who built them. This is the legacy of the igloo, not just a structure, but a philosophy, a way of understanding the world, a bridge between humans and their environment. As long as there is snow and the knowledge to shape it, the Inuit will continue to build these remarkable shelters, preserving both life and culture in the frozen expanse of the Arctic.